Trent, we're going to need to see and hear you. I'd like to call this meeting to order, the Barren County Fiscal Board. This is September the 20th, 2022, 9 a.m. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Jeff Bott.
Here.
Trent Riddle. Carl Dickerson. Tim Cooper.
Here.
Mark Bowman.
Here.
Kenneth Sarton.
Here.
Billy Houchin.
Here.
Michael Bell.
Here, thank you very much. Today's adoption of today's order, I'd like to add the Judiciary Center project update to today's orders. I entertain a motion to do that. Motion. Second. Mr. Dickerson, Coomer, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Master Riddle, we'll need to see and hear you on Zoom, please. Or we can't count your vote. Okay. Stand and join me with the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today's invocation will be given by Master Tim Cooper.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today thanking you most of all for sending your son and all the blessings that this great country of ours receives. I know it's hard to see at times of turmoil, but if we look around us, we see that we're still the greatest nation. Lord, lead and guide and direct us today as far as county business, that we'd make decisions for the best of Barren County. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to welcome everyone today. We have a very large crowd. We have a lot of celebrities here today. We have a lot of state champions here today. We have a lot of folks that have represented our county very well. I mean, you guys have put us on the map. We greatly appreciate that. And we'll get to you all in just a second, okay? Thank you all the elected officials that are here today. I know I've seen all of you. I don't see you now, but anyway. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 16th, August 26th, 2022.
So moved.
Second by Bowman. Any additions, subtractions, deletion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes. Announcements. Does any master have any announcements in their respective districts?
It's not in my district. Just want to remind people of the 225-year anniversary of Barren County. We actually have a meeting tonight at 6 p.m. at the Cave City Convention Center. And maybe Catherine can help me out what that name is, Juan's whatever, but the 19-letter word that we're celebrating 225 years.
Yes.
But anyway, we're
Months now.
looking forward to celebrating 225-year anniversary of Barren County, and need all the volunteers we can get to help out. So if you'd like to show up tonight at 6 p.m. at Cave City Convention Center. Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Judge, can you hear me now?
Gotcha. Can't see you though.
Okay. I'll have to work on that here in a second. So we got the Friends of Barren River Lakes doing the lakeshore cleanup this weekend. So if anybody wants to volunteer and bring their boat, just come on down. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go into my report. I'm going to ask Maxie Murray to address the podium and talk about our champions. And the young people that are sitting here today, this is why, you know, when we come to court, Maxie and I, we talk about the future of our community. Court, this is what you're looking at. Right here's the future. And this is why we have to expand our parks. The whole reason why we have to expand our parks, because of these folks right here and what they're doing and representing Barren County. It's important that we do that. And we invest in our youth and our community. And you are looking at it. So, hey, we're here to thank you guys today and gals, and on a job well done. I'm very proud of you. Thank you, coaches, for the commitment and the time that you've put into them. Thank you, parents, for getting them where they need to be. A lot of time parents don't ever get the thank yous, and the coaches don't get the thank yous. But it takes the parents getting the kids where they need to go. It takes the parents understanding what the coach is trying to do. And hey, just a great job by all that's represented Barren County. And Maxie, it's all yours, buddy.
Judge, if I could, let's don't forget the grandparents, eh?
I ain't got that far. I ain't got that far in my life yet, Mark. Sorry. Thank you, grandparents.
Just to speak a little bit about Jack Brown Park, when I first took over 3 years ago, Mr. Sherry Jones here gave me an outline of where you guys accepted this park and was building this park. Jackie Brown had a vision. He had a vision to make a centralized location for kids to come play and enjoy the sports. When I read that, that was touchy to me, and I hope that we're giving it justice by what we do out there. I think this year we had 780 in the spring. We're pushing 450 here in the fall. Football's pushing over 300. And that's all at that one park. So that puts us right at 1,500 kids in and out of there throughout the year. Okay. So I just want you to know what you're doing and the things that you may not be able to see. Come out and see us. We invite you to come out, but just know that we're providing what I feel like a good experience for kids and learning experiences. They not only learn how to play the game, but they get some real life experiences. They learn how to respect their elders, respect other people around them. They also, whenever you pull them into the middle school, you got North Jackson High School, Eastern, all these elementary schools, Red Cross, no one forgetting them, but Park City. They don't get to know those kids other than through this fact. So that whenever they jump into middle school, which is one of the most turning points of young adults, is which direction they go. They've already made friends at Jackie Brown because they've met those North Jackson, Eastern, and made those friends there, that they don't go in just knowing the people that's at Red Cross or at North Jackson. So I'm going to introduce the 12 or 14U. I keep on calling John, sorry, because I remember so much as 12. John has done a fabulous job. He has started this at 10U in the 10 and under, which is 9 and 10-year-olds. He's won titles at those ages, 12U. He's also just this year won the state and regional title in softball in Babe Ruth for the 14U. The state title, he actually had to play in the 16U division because they didn't have enough teams in the 14U. So he actually won his 14U team, actually beat 16U team to win the state title, and then moved on to regionals. They had the opportunity to go to the World Series. We were hurrying around, if I remember, trying to get the money together and things like that, but things didn't work out before we could. But hopefully next year, when you young ladies go back and do this again, we'll make sure we get you there if you choose to want to go. I'll do all I can do for you, I promise. Okay. John, if you want to come up, I'll let you introduce your coaches and your players. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about after him. I'll talk a little bit about the 7U team.
Good morning. First and foremost, I want to really focus on this group of girls. They've done more. We started, just to give a background story, we started the first year of 10U. Okay. We competed state region 10U our first year. We didn't do bad. The second year of 10U, we got beat in state and won the region as 10U. So that was a big accomplishment for us. This group of girls, everybody asks, how much work and dedication they put in. And I enjoy the ride of them with them. I can't express how happy I am for the accomplishments they made. It takes an army to do what we've done as long as we've done it. And the great thing about this group of girls is they're Barren County kids, okay? And they're known, not just in Kentucky, but other states as well. We played teams from numerous states and done well. We played a national tournament last year. There were 16 states in it. We got second, okay? It was a huge tournament. These girls put the work in that they're where they are because of them. We put time in trying to help them get better. But from when we started to now, it's just it's unbelievable. The parents, that it takes an army, like I said, to do what we've done. And the parent support we have is great. The coach stuff I've got with me, they're great. Like I said, anything that I've asked them to do as coaches, they're there. I mean, to have that, like I said, the core group, what we have as Barren County kids is unheard of. To accomplish what we've done from one group, one county, you know, we don't see that. When we go to these bigger tournaments, we're seeing teams from numerous states on one team, and we're from here. So to say that what we've accomplished with this group is exceptional. So, so proud of you, girl. Glad to be a part of what you all have done, and we'll keep rolling with it. Okay? So, we good? Kira Moore, come on up. Lilia Moore. Taylor Ray. Hadley Cunningham. Chloe Westmoreland. Mary Warren. Audrey Jones. Nora Shirley. Josie Moore.
Give a round of applause.
Here, please. Thank you. Don't get in it.
Cheers.
It's tough to get.
All right, y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. In.
All right. Good job. Thank you, girls. Thank you. Okay, this next group is our 7 and under kids. And I actually had the opportunity to go watch them play. And it was very, very impressive to watch them. When I was trying to decide on the all-star coaches, I just kind of threw Patrick and being in the pool of things, and I said, y'all just kind of figure out who's going to be the head coach. Things worked out. Ben kind of took on that role and things like that. But the assistants kind of rolled in there and pulled together, made everything work. But watching these boys play at an age at 7 and underage, to watch them play situational baseball the way they played situational baseball was unbelievable. They knew where to take the ball. They knew where the ball needed to be. They knew where to stop the lead runner without having to be yelled at or talked to. So, yeah, we did probably make a few errors here and there, but these gentlemen really, really impressed me. I'm super proud of these guys. Like I said, you know, this is or like Judge said, it's our future. And I think the future of baseball in Barren County, because every one of these kids are Barren County kids. When I say Barren County kids, they live in Barren County.
They may go to different schools, but they're all here. So I'm super proud of them. Ben and them's done an excellent job. But you really missed something if you didn't get a chance to watch these group of boys play, okay? I'm gonna introduce Ben. Ben Wood was head coach here. I appreciate you being here.
Morning, Court.
Morning.
First of all, I just want to say thank you all for honoring and recognizing these boys. I want to thank Patrick Knuckles and Ryan Houskins and Kelly Taylor. A lot of guys, my name's Ben Wood, by the way. We put a lot of time in with these guys, but one of the common themes, I got to say, this is my first time doing it, and I've just enjoyed it so much. The common theme when we went to Louisville to play state and then on into play the regionals, the common theme, I had coaches coming up to me, parents coming up to me, officials and ups coming up to me, and they would just say, these boys are crazy. They're doing things that kids that are twice their age aren't doing, and we're just so proud of them. And there's a particular, it's crazy to think about 7 years old, but all these boys are gamers. I got to say, I mean, when it's time to play, they play and they play hard and they give it max effort. But I got to say, even at 7 years old, I seen something in all of these boys that when they were representing Barren County, it just like took it to another level. They all took tremendous pride in the fact that they were representing their home. They were representing here, and they done it well. They done it really well. And we really didn't know what we had when we went up there. We didn't know what would happen. We didn't know really how good they would perform or the other teams. And it was clear very early that, hey, we've got a real chance at this, you know. And I just can't say enough about the boys. I'll get out of the way, but I'm so proud of every one of you guys, and I hope that we can do it for a lot of years to come. Thank you all so much.
We want to let you just introduce them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with you, Jones. Jones Moore. Come here, buddy. Congratulations. Knox Davidson. I forget this kid's name. Wyatt Wood. Parker Knuckles. Griffin Hughes. Wyatt Asher. Collins Coulter. Brogan Houchins. Corbin Williams. Abel Minor. Griffin Taylor. And Levi Nunn. They're not going to be as good as the girls without lining up the picture.
Very good. Go down one minute. Go down 1 minute. Just like you. There you go. Very good. Good job, fellas.
Show 'em off.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. And again. Quiet. Oh, my.
All right.
Thank you. One more quick thing. I've reached out to donors and things that's going to donate. We're going to take pictures of the guys and the gals, and we're going to place the pictures like we have at the park now. And people's going to donate those to us, and the lady will take the pictures. So we'll be presenting those and putting those up at the park as soon as we can get those pictures taken. So I appreciate everything y'all do, guys, girls. Can't do it without you. So we appreciate y'all being out there, and parents appreciate y'all getting them there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Welcome to stay or you got which one? I'll be up to you.
See you, Will. Will. See which one
Could have done it without you. Could have done it without you.
You'll be here first. Should have you first thing. Good morning. Do what?
It's my name to get it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's been the business.
All right, let's keep moving here. Got a update by the Judicial Center project. Judge Alexander's here, the ALC.
Morning, everybody. Thank you all. I just wanted to give you a real brief update on where we are as far as acquisition of sites, the site, the different parcels that go along with it. Mark Bannister with the Administrative Office of the Courts is here. I figured you all might have some questions about what comes next and all that, and that's what hopefully he's here to do. But just real briefly, most of you know, if not all of you, that we recently went to the city and have an agreement. They passed an ordinance that's going to involve selling us that amount of property that we were needing from the city. We met with the water company yesterday afternoon, and they approved, the water company approved and signed actually our option. So we've got an option, an exclusive option to purchase the old Glasgow glass building and the property directly behind it. It's just kind of a strip, but I don't remember how many of you we've talked to about this, but you know, it squares that up back there so that we can have a straight line going all the way up to Front Street. And so Dollar General is what we have left. I have spoken to the executive VP at Dollar General that I've been dealing with for the last 2 months or so. We spoke last night. Everything's fine. We're just trying to get the most advantageous way to get the wording done so that they can stay they want to be able to remain on the site for a little while they're exploring their other options. And so we're trying to make sure that we can get them as much time as we can get away with that doesn't impair the progress of our project. So I would say that they've been great to work with and extremely easy to get along with. So I have no issues there. And I think we're all going to be fine as soon as we can just basically get the form that it needs to take down. And we're being pretty flexible. We'll do really however they want to do it. So it's just a question of her running some ideas of the food chain, I think, and making sure that it works best for them. I do just want to make one other observation, which is, you know, that I appreciated Squire Coomers in his invocation when he said that it's a lot of times it's hard when we look around and we see all the arguing and infighting and everything like that, I would say this is one of those deals where it just shows that if everybody, if we try, we can get things done that are mutually advantageous. And I think that's what's happened here. I think that everybody that has an interest in what's going on is satisfied with where we are. I think that we've done something that's going to end up, lifting everybody around us in that area down there. And so I'm pretty happy with how this has all worked out. Took a minute to get there, but most good things do. So I think we're in good shape. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you've got. I really didn't want to take a ton of time other than just to update you on where we are getting the property acquired. And so I think we're ready to get all that done. Our options with the city and the water company have to be executed on or before December 12th. So basically we'll be looking at a little bit less than 90 days, and we should have pen on paper as far as purchase contracts or contracts to sell. And then the Dollar General will be somewhere in that same time, probably, depending on how it goes. Yes, sir.
So how much property did the city agree to sell to the county?
I don't want to tell you because I can't remember, but I mean, it's all, Chrissy might have it. You want to. I just didn't want to give you the swag method. I mean, I'm going to tell you, because it's got, a lot of rumors go around. The city is agreeing to sell us 3.26 acres. Yeah. Yeah, which would include Ford Drive, which runs right now, right to the immediate west of Dollar General. They've agreed to close that. So that's that little road bed right there, right next to, that's the road. They've agreed to close that. And of course, that's because the building will be occupying that. And then we'll have another means of egress a little bit more to the left, which is part of the other property that they're selling. And then the Dollar General is essentially, I mean, if it's not a half acre, it's scared it. I mean, it's within a tenth of an acre or so, or a hundredth of an acre being a half acre. And then the Dollar General, the water company property is roughly 3/4 of an acre. In that ballpark, maybe 2/3 of an acre. Yeah, so the total amount that we're going to have is 4¼ acres. And there had been a little discussion about whether or not that's enough and all that. And that's why our architect came in with this, what he called a test fit, to show, we learned a lot of new terms and all this, a volumetric test fit to show that the parking lot of the appropriate size could be placed on this, and a building that had the appropriate volume could be placed on this. And we've got that, of course, with room to spare, accessible parking, a private, or not a private, but a secure parking area, a sally port area for inmates to be brought in and out, public parking. And, they were able to, originally they had said something about 120 or 30 spots. And I think the lot that they said we would have room for, do you remember, guys, 240 or something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Way more than we need.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have more room than we're going to actually have as far as a minimum parking lot. So in other words, we're going to be able to build an ample parking lot that won't, theoretically, I mean, I guess there are things that happen that I can't predict, but theoretically it won't ever be too small. If you've got, for example, 2 juries going on at once, 2 big trials. We have had cases where we've had to bring in, extra juries, if it's a high profile case or whatever, extra jurors. So, if we ever had to do something like that, we'd still be able to accommodate the parking lots.
All right, if I can follow up with that. So I think a lot of discussion is centered around the building facing West Main Street. Do we have enough property with, the 3.26 acres from the city, 3/4 an acre from the water company, and 1/2 an acre from Dollar General? Is the building going to front West Main Street?
I don't know how the building front, because they hadn't designed it yet.
We don't know. This is a conceptual drawing.
Yeah, I mean, this is
It's just for total space, make sure the building will get on that lot.
it's a volumetric test fit to show that a building would fit there. I will tell you this, that, I mean, there are requirements about what the building, about access. And I've mentioned this before. I know I've talked to some of you guys about this, but I mean, this is not a building where we're allowed to have multiple points of ingress into the building. This is a building that has to have one point of ingress into it with metal detectors and room to collect the public that's coming in, plus everybody else that's coming. Now, obviously, that will be a secure ingress for employees, but there's one public point of ingress. And for that to happen, you got to have a substantial amount of I forgot what they call it, but a vestibule and a collection spot and all this other stuff. Because when you've got people coming in, and let's say you have 75 people on an 8:30 docket, most of them are going to get there around the same time. Can't have them standing out in the rain, can't have them standing out in the parking lot or in the road. So you've got to have a way to get everybody into the building in one spot. So that will inform whatever design we have will be those requirements. But I mean, we don't have a design yet, so that's the answer to that.
Well, I know it was presented to city council, for over 5 acres. And they're saying that they're giving us the option on 3.26, correct?
I mean, what they've approved is what we presented to them. Is that wrong?
Second
They voted
presentation.
down the first option of the 5 acres.
Sure, yeah, I mean, what the county fiscal court presented to them is what they did not approve. And
That's
then
who
what
I'm
we-
representing.
what we went back and presented to them, they approved.
I wasn't aware of that.
Aware of
I was aware that when it left court here, it was 5.098 acres or something. And now I'm hearing 3.26.
I mean, we got on the agenda and went to the city council and had a public meeting, and that's what we presented to them, and that's what they agreed to sell us.
The second proposal was by the project development board, not fiscal court.
Yeah, the fiscal court didn't present that.
Proposed 5 acres. They voted that down. I think that's where the confusion is.
Right.
The project development board then presented to fiscal court on their own accord, and that was the agreement. Was the 3 points.
Yes, ma'am. Is that cleared up?
Certainly happens.
Well, I mean, do you have another question? I'll try to answer.
Main question I've got, that building, that $34 million building, front West Main Street.
Well, when we get into the design phase, if you want to come in, you can come in and be a part of that conversation. We haven't designed it yet. I mean, it's like asking me, is it going to have, what color carpets it's going to have, or what's the door going to look like, or, I mean, we don't know any of those things. We haven't done any designing on the building. We can't design it until we get all the sites purchased and we get in there with our engineering and architecture team and figure out exactly how it's got to lay and how it's, how they've got to accommodate the requirements of getting people in the building.
So, Judge Alexander, the scenario I understand is when Dollar General approves a price, I don't know, y'all in
We've
negotiation.
already got the price.
Okay, you already got the price.
Yeah.
Water company's okay with it.
Yeah.
The city's okay with it. So,
All we're waiting on with the city is to get the appraisal, the final appraisal in for the, is that right? Is that how you remember? So, yeah,
when you all get that done, which will probably be what, 30, 60 days, you think?
I would think sooner than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll come back here and we will, property development or the property corporation, whatever we are, we will approve it then. Is that how it's going to work?
I think, I mean, that's what I kind of have Mark here because he does these all the time.
Only the board purchase the property.
I understand that.
You know what I mean? So there's some stuff that happens on the public property corporation side. AOC has bond counsel, which AOC pays for, the advises the public property corporation, make sure everything's taken care of properly from a legal standpoint. We pay somebody to take care of that. for
So
us.
we will be meeting with you, that council sometime,
You know,
the bond council.
They basically give with the judge executive, tell them what we need to do.
This will all happen before the end of the year.
Yeah, they usually do that while we're closing on the loan for the pay for this property. Usually they get the financing once we know the dollar amounts for this stuff. So we're waiting, to get kind of a prices finalized. So we know how much money to tell the financial advisor that we borrow and pay for our expenses until we get into construction.
And if the court will approve that.
We just basically come up with the number ALC does. It gives them the amount. We basically estimate the cost of the architectural fees. So let's say if we decided to demolish the Dollar General building early, we would budget for that. We think, I already have a working grant for all that.
And I know the property development board has, the power. Y'all have the power to do all these things. But we will be, at each step, we will be kept informed. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean.
I would appreciate it if we would.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, I know.
So everybody knows exactly where we are.
Going back to we're basically identified a site. And so once we know we have the site, they'll start working on a conceptual design. Okay, once that's basic complete, whether it's a classic building, a modern building, all that type of thing gets worked on, then that basically goes to a court facility standards committee, which is a 10-member board. It's got the chief justice, a couple of members from the general assembly, judicial branch members, there's a county judge nominated by the governor. They basically have a meeting, and they approve that courthouse is done. Once that's approved, then they go on to further stages, design, get to the point where we can actually get it out. So it's,
Yeah,
anybody else have any questions on that type of stuff?
Thank you.
And I mean, presumably, these, the PDB or Project Development Board, of course, we meet once a month. And that's going to be part of our conversations, obviously, once we get the bond issue taken care of and all that, you start into that design and development phase, I think is what they call it. And, you know, those are going to be meetings where we have all kinds of professionals in there. And obviously, I think they'll be open to the public anyway, but obviously you guys will all be able to come to those. And, you know, it's just going to be a question of, this is an interesting thing, but I mean, you know, there's less leeway than you might think, because they already have basically what the building has to, how big it's going to be and what it has to contain. So it's just going to be a question of how we orient it and where we put, you know, like something might be on one floor or the other floor, something might be adjacent to this or around the corner of that. And so all of those are what we're going to be into. And then, of course, as Mark was saying, what it's going to look like from the exterior and all that will be part of that mix too.
You know, I've been here a long time. I'm not sure $32 million project is not the biggest one, regardless of what factories that's ever been done in Barren County. Somebody correct me if they think I'm wrong. So this court, all that we've ever wanted is to be done right. That's all we ever wanted. Okay.
Sure. And I mean, I think that all the different things that have gone around and all the different kind of levels of frustration have not been because of bad faith. They've been because there have been different opinions about how the right way to do it is. And that's not at all. And that was the point I was trying to make, is that that's what happens in government, right? And that's what happens in decision making. And if you're the only guy making decisions, then you debate with yourself, but that's it. But when you're a collaborative body and then you got two collaborative bodies plus this third, which is our board, then all of a sudden there's a lot of giving and a lot of taking that has to happen. And I think this is an example that can happen and it can work.
From experience, the only guy way is the best way.
Do what?
From experience, the only guy way is the best way.
Well, I mean, all things being equal, but that we don't, this is what we've had this.
I'm just talking from personal experience.
You go up to the table and they deal you a hand, when you play the hand, you don't necessarily get to decide what cards you get.
That's true.
So we're playing the hand. Yeah.
And I just wanted to comment too that, this, as Carl said, this is a very large project for the county and our community, and that do appreciate all the work of the PDB board. Because y'all put in a lot of hours I mean, very much appreciative of that. And I don't want to come off saying that I'm not, but I am. And then I think that, to further expand on what you were saying, you know, I think that we all have, you know, it's took an integral working together with all of us to get to this point. And we just want what the best, you know, the best for the community, you know, very accessible, the building laid out correctly.
Sure.
You know, and just like buying a piece of property, like where I live, the guy that built that house bought 2 lots. And then after he bought the 2 lots because it took the 2 to get the house where he was going to build it correct. And it would seem that we have done the same thing here with the three entities that we're dealing with: the city, dollar store, and the water company. Correct? That's the 3. And so,
You are correct.
and I just want to make it explicitly clear that, you know, that the building is done correctly.
I think that any of us that tried to get into this and got to the point of designing the building and didn't want to design it correctly would be not deserving of the trust that's been placed into them by the people in our community. So I would agree with you. Okay. Do y'all have any other questions, either of myself or Mr. Bannister, the AOC rep? Because he knows all the, you know, the details. I mean, I'm a forest guy and he's a tree guy.
Going back to your question on the time, so, you know, you all, we're basically buying a property now, so then we got to design the building, so we're either gonna got to figure out what style building it's gonna be. Modern buildings, the classical looking building, what's it gonna be? So in Jessamine County, they closed on property right before Christmas. So here we're in September, they're still working on the design of the outside of the building 9 months later. So that's how much time another county's been spending on the floor plan of the building, the outside of the building, and whatnot. So AOC basically kind of sizes these courthouses. They look at caseloads and whatnot. So there's already, like, you know, we have so many judges, they get so much support staff. There's other, you know, staff that goes into the building. That stuff's already like pre-allocated. So we have a pretty good idea of what goes in the building, how many courtrooms. That's already predetermined when we get our money for the building. So we'll go through with the judges, work on layout of the building, how all that's going to flow and whatnot, and work on how all that's going to fit on the site. So that's a process in itself after we get the property selected. So it's not like, you know, we got the property, they stick it on there, and that's already figured out. We haven't even started that process yet. Does that make sense? Does that help you with your question? So
Well, somewhat, you know, but
in the
my original question was this: will the building face West Main Street? And do we know? Well, first of all, with the property that we're purchasing, is that an adequate amount of property purchased to do that?
architects are telling us yes.
Okay.
So I mean, we basically, that's why, so basically, you know, that's why we have the architects on board early when we're doing site acquisitions, so they can help us with those decisions. Is this a buildable site? Is it going to be a costly site, or is it going to be less costly? You know, so those type of decisions, we're relying on them and their expertise to advise us on all that. They're telling us basically this is adequate enough to build a building that we're planning on building the size of the building. Does that make sense? I don't know how many square feet this is. You know, they'll look at, you know, is this going to be 2 floors, 3 floors, how all that works out. They make those considerations. Going back to what, yes, sir.
No, I mean, they came down here when we started this project and they brought, I forgot it, some number of drones, and they flew the drones within a half a mile of the courthouse. And they 7 drones, 7 sites. Yeah, they flew it within they drew a radius out and they programmed those drones and they flew them around and they came in and they pointed to this spot and they said, this is where you need to put your courthouse if you can get it. And your judicial center. And then they said, these are other acceptable sites within that half a mile, or I may be wrong on that, I'm in a 4/10, or whatever it was. And so we explored every one of those things. There were reasons of a variety of, natures of why we couldn't get those things. We came back, 6 months ago, whenever it was, and Tom, called me and he was like, all right, our best option is still this spot right here. And we got the aerial photos out and we drew it out. They put that test fit on it to see whether it would fit or not and where we could orient the parking and all that. And then that's when we said, let's lower our head and go. And that's what we did. So those guys, we've got Alliance, got American Engineers, we've got 2 architecture firms, and they have all wholeheartedly endorsed this plan. And they're probably, at least when it comes to building things, they're smarter than we are.
Just a question, do you know if the same architect we're dealing, it's not one of the Jessamine County courthouse?
It is not.
I was just told, and it made sense to me, and this is just a comment, that their architect told them that the building needed, a building of that size is actually, theirs is 52,000, ours is gonna be 56. Need to set off the road at least 80 feet because of the magnitude of the building to get and that was what they were told by their architect.
And they're, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on it. Their building is in a different kind of place than ours is.
Right.
Their building, the way I understand it, is like on a busy, like a, not even, it's not downtown. It's on like not really a bypass, but on like a main.
And you're asking about Jessamine?
Yeah,
County?
Jessamine.
So it's on the main, courthouse is on part of that, or right off that street. So it's on further up the street. There used to be a car dealership there back in the 50s. We're basically tearing that down, a service station and whatnot. And so that piece of property goes from the main street to a rear street behind it. So you can have it entrance and exit from the front and rear, similar to what you're all potentially going to have here. As far as that goes, now that property there, about half of that property is in the floodplain. So that building is going to be somewhat elevated due to, you can't go down because of the floodplain. So there's some factors there that
we're going to have the ability to have, if we wanted to, because of that was one of the things they liked so much was the natural elevation or slope. And we're going to have the ability to put some of the stuff that we would need to put for a 2-story building actually at the bottom of that, so it would actually look like a 2-story building from one angle and a 3-story building from another angle. Like a walkout basement you got on that doesn't mean we'll do that, but that means that, for example, a building that's 4,000 more square feet might be a much smaller footprint than a building that's 4,000 smaller square feet because of the way you can set it up. So, that's, and I know that everybody gets into these things. Every one of these is sui generis, which is just a weird Latin word term that means everything is its own, right? Our building is our building. The site is its own site. The Jessamine County site is its own site. All of the buildings are, and basically what we know from the architects, from the AOC, is that our building is going to be comparable to theirs in terms of footprint, and we've got more space than they've got. We've got more real estate than they've got to put on building. Not by a lot.
They have 4.75.
Oh, well, they told us 4.1.
Okay.
so they're similar size sites.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And they're limited to where we can't go down as far as we could possibly on investment things, so we're having to kind of go up. So if you keep it close to the road, then increase your line.
And I know we got a lot of planning. No, I just want to make that comment. And I agree with it. I mean, it seems like you don't want to go by and look at your building, when you drive by, you want something.
I think you're right. At least, I don't know about number of feet, but I mean, it's not going to be right up on the road, right? And that would make any sense. But there are issues about sight lines and the way, if you ever look at the way that the road, that West Main Street it has kind of a curvature to it, which you don't really think it has when you're driving on it, but if you look at it on a map, it does. And so, you know, the architect already has some ideas about how a building would need to lay on that property. And they put those ideas into play when they did this test fit to say, is this enough room? If we need to move it back, or when we put it, we would need to put it in this kind of general spot, and we have enough room to do it. And, you know, I can tell you, y'all talk about a lot of work's going into it, and that's true. But I mean, all of these architects and everything like that, they've worked an awful lot on it to be a year. And I mean, I think it's been a year and a half they've been on board, and I mean, to have not gotten their fee approved yet, you know. So, I mean, and every time we pick up the phone and say, we expect to scale up something for this, mock up something for that, bam, within a couple of days, they've done it. So, I mean, you know, I can't complain about anybody. Everybody has worked with us, and we have a lot of confidence in those guys. That's about all I can say about that. Okay.
Thank you.
Back to the architects, Integrity, which is half of the two firms, they're redoing the circuit courthouse in Richmond. So they're working on it. They are working on other projects.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you.
Master Riddle, can you talk to us so we can be able to hear you? We can officially put you on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you. Thank you. Okay, moving on. We have the 6535 rule exemptions for the 22-23 fiscal year. This is from the Department of Local Government. Your request for exemption set forth in KRS 68.310 regarding 6535 for the 22-23 relates to the following project is granted: the Sheriff's Department Crime Scene Equipment Project. So that has been approved. Okay, so we'll be moving, I guess Sheriff will be moving on that to purchase that. The audit certification LGEA funds, I have an answer for that from our special call meeting. This is from the certification of compliance from local government economic assistance, KRS 42.460. Audit report shall include a certification that the funds were expended for the purposes intended. Same certification form that have been included in all fiscal court audits for the past several years. Kentucky State Audit website provides audits for Barren Fiscal Court from 1998 to the present. Same certification form includes in all audits. Also, same certification form signed by any Kentucky county that receives LGEA funding. Fiscal court audits have been made available to all fiscal court members following completion and release by the Kentucky State Auditor's Office. LGEA fund receipts and expenditures are presented to the fiscal court on a monthly basis and are approved each month by the fiscal court, subject to audit. Certificate language certifies that the assistant received from the local government economic assistance program was expanded for the purpose intended as dictated by applicable Kentucky revised statutes. An audit of the fiscal court involves the particular fiscal year financial statements that have already been approved by the fiscal court, subject to audit. Also, court members are provided questionnaires for the audit for completion and return to the auditor. So the long and short of the audit and the certification, each month you guys receive the financials. If you look on your agendas in new business, item B, this is on every month of the financial statements that you receive. And at the end, it always says subject to audit. So before this goes to audit, the fiscal court already certifies the audit by your voting court. So I hope that clears that up. And that's what we received from the Department of Local Government. Any questions?
I have a question, Judge. What you just read, was that in our packet that we received?
No, but you can get a copy of it.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. Any questions?
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Sheriff, you're up, sir.
Good morning, Court.
Morning.
Morning. As you can see there, on our agenda here, a sale of surplus canine vehicle box. A few years ago, we bought a kind of a metal box. They bolted together. They can't weld it because of some chemical reaction that causes the dog harm if they weld it. So basically, it's a big puzzle, bolted together, put in the back seat of the Tahoe and hauls the canine. Well, since we've changed model years, then that box is obsolete. So I've been contacted by Monroe County to see if they can buy our used box. I have to come before the court because obviously it's our property, and there's some legal jargon about selling to another governmental entity, body. I'm not sure the proper wording, but I have to have your approval to do it. So basically, long story short version, Monroe County would like to purchase our used dog box to go in their car, and can I or may we sell it to you?
Any action?
I'll make a motion. We sell it.
Mr. Kramer?
Second.
Second. Mr. Botts, excuse me. Questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right.
Also, just a little caveat, I passed out some information for you. That's for next court meeting. I didn't have my ducks in a row, get on the agenda to talk about that. That's an investigative partnership between the FBI Child Sex Crimes Unit and our agency. They're looking to partner with several agencies across South Central Kentucky. And we'll talk about that in the next meeting. I just wanted you to know you have the material and you can look over it before October meeting. So,
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else you need to?
well, I didn't know if you needed me to ask about, we're gonna talk about the quietus and.
We just got to vote on.
Okay.
First, big thing, unless anything you want to say about it.
Pretty good shape there.
Knowledge received the quietus of 2021 taxes. We need a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Second, Patrick Houchins. Basically, what this means is that all property taxes for 2021 have been accounted for and accordingly, and so the Department of Revenue issues this quietus to our county. So we have to acknowledge that. Questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Consider a public official's bond for the 2022 tax collection. That currently sets at 2.5 million. This is an annual thing that we need to, we're going to leave it there or are we going to raise that?
Move that we leave it at 2.5 million.
Have a match, Master Dickerson. Motion. Second, Master Botts. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, Building and Property Committee.
Building Property Committee met this morning, 8:30. We had two items on the agenda. First, request was for a new water heater replacement at the courthouse. I see Judge Alexander's left. Evidently that we don't have hot water at the courthouse now. But my understanding is our hands are tied. AOC wants 3 quotes. We only have 2. The other one was supposed to be in this morning, didn't show up. So there's really no action to be taken. If someone knows a way around that, it'd be great for them, I guess.
That's the county attorney. The county attorney, could the court give the Building Property Committee authority to purchase a water heater? Would it have to be a full court vote?
It would have to be approved by the court.
Thank you.
So the other item was Mr. McMurtry had a request to speak to the committee on property. He thinks that our jail is built on. My understanding, this is maybe the third time this request has been made. My understanding is a title search was performed at the time that the property was built and nothing was found. And after further evidence, I told him I'd be glad to get the PBA maps, show them to him and look up the deeds to make sure there's not been any mistakes. But if, as far as a court was concerned, if there's no new evidence, really nothing can be done. I'll let, but I will get back with him with the information I find. I'll get the copies and that was all. That's all I have.
Master Comer, we'll check with the AOC to see if, under my authority, we can just declare an emergency to purchase that.
And then they reimburse.
Yeah, we'll check with AOC first to make
That'd
sure.
be
that-
great.
We'll just bring it back and forth next week. Since they need one.
Next meeting.
Well, just for acknowledgement.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant.
Transportation Committee, Mr. House.
Okay, Transportation Committee met last Thursday, and we've got 2 or 3 things on here. We had 2 quotes on trailers, and I think one of them was 18,000, but we decided on the one 14,700. All this equipment around on, the one that got tore up. And I'd like to have a PO on that and a purchase, where you can go ahead and purchase.
I second. We have a motion and a second by Master Potts. Do you want to add your motion, the payment also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Purchase.
You good with the second there, Master Potts?
Yes.
14,700. Questions?
If Susan don't mind, you might come up and explain to the court the reason we're buying this trailer, because it will be able, and I'll try it and you can add, it will be able to be pulled by ton truck. We will not be hauling the backhoe on it. We'll be hauling roller, skid steer,
Small equipment,
small equipment.
water
And-
tanks, possible.
Okay. And the backhoe will still be, we still have a larger trailer that will be pulled by a dump truck with air brakes for the larger equipment.
Utilize a non-CDL driver.
I just
And
want to make
it is sitting on a lot.
the trailer is available now, but it doesn't have air brakes. But we'll never exceed the weight limit. So
I've got pictures, if anybody wants to see them and have anything.
Just have to make, can you hear me, Judge?
Yeah, we got you.
You just got to make sure with this trailer, that, you do not ever exceed, the gross vehicle combination weight rating. If you exceed that weight rating, which what that means is that's what the truck and the trailer and the load, that's what the vehicle is designed to carry. But with that size trailer behind a 1-ton truck, you will very easily exceed that weight rating. So I just want to make sure that that doesn't happen, because if that happens, you're just as, you're in just as much violation as you would be, by having a non-CDL driver using a bigger truck with air brakes. I don't like moving equipment on a gooseneck trailer. I've been doing it since 1981, and I've tried it. It makes the center of gravity a lot higher. Your stopping distance is going to be a lot greater versus a truck with air brakes. I don't think it's a good idea I think you just have to really be careful. And, I don't use them. I've tried it. It didn't work well for me. It just seemed like the danger factor increased, and I'll be voting no on it, but you guys do whatever. I like a lower profile trailer, with a heavier truck. I always have a rule of thumb that my truck, my trailer needs to be a lot heavier than what I'm going to be loading on there. And then I feel much safer, but that's just the way I roll. Thank you.
Jason, I have a question with the weight, 23,400, is that total of what the trailer, the truck?
That's weight on the trailer. That's for the trailer.
That's what the trailer can haul and the trailer's weight.
Susan, that trailer you had on Butler Road last Friday, that didn't have air brakes either, did it? I didn't think so. You were pulling the roller, and what else was that? Just the roller?
Small skid steer.
Okay.
One or the other.
Okay, thank you.
You just have to understand it doesn't really matter what the gross vehicle weight rating is of the trailer. It's a combination. So whatever that manufacturer of that truck, whatever that truck is designed for, you have to go by that, not the truck, not the trailer, or not the load. You have to refer to the gross vehicle combination weight rating in order to calculate the amount of load that you can haul behind that particular vehicle. So you just got to always watch that number and not exceed it. And I don't know, I think that truck, that Dodge truck, and I'm kind of guessing here, probably doesn't have a weight rating much over 20,000 pounds for a combination weight rating. I haven't got the specs on that truck, but if you put very much on it all, you got to figure what you're loading on the truck, plus you got to figure the weight of the trailer. And those three together creates your gross vehicle combination weight rating. So there again, you got to be careful about what you put on that size trailer with that pulling with that ton truck. And I know we see farmers doing it all the time, but the farmers with farm tags comes under a little different jurisdiction there.
Okay, any other questions?
Could we amend the motion to say that what Trent just said, to be safe, that we motion to buy this trailer if the weight limit, if we get the weight limit of what the truck's supposed to haul in the trailer, then check the weight on this skid steer to make sure that's all, which I'm sure it will be. Is that something we can do? Amend that motion?
That's what you
Because
got.
I don't want to hold up another month for her to buy the trailer. But help me out, Kathy.
If that's your amendment,
That's my motion.
okay, just restate that, please.
Yes. That we purchase this trailer, the one that was made in the motion, that we amend the motion that the joint weight of the trailer, the truck, and whatever piece of equipment that we're going to be hauling, there's a couple pieces, does not exceed the legal weight limit. Okay. Required by statute.
Okay, we have a motion. Second, Master Bowman, questions?
I've got a little comment I'd like to make. We got a road department down there. We hire these people to do the job safely. And if we lose confidence in them doing the job safely, we don't need to have the road department anymore. I have confidence they will do it safely. So if Susan wants the trailer, we need to let her have the trailer if they're gonna do Carl call. We're not gonna have confidence in them doing it safely. We probably need to shut the road department down.
Any other
Just a comment.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay, we're voting on the amendment. Roll call vote, please.
Spar Riddle,
No.
Spar Dickerson.
Yes.
Spar Cameron,
Yes.
Spar Bowman,
Yes.
Spar Sarton,
Yes.
Spar Houchin.
Yes.
Spar Bott.
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes, thank you. Okay, go back to the main motion. Any other questions on main motion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Spar Dickerson.
Yes.
Spar Cameron,
Yes.
Spar Bowman,
Yes.
Spar Sarton,
Yes.
Spar Houchin.
Yes.
Spar Bott.
Yes.
Spar Riddle,
No.
Judge Hale.
Yes, thank you very much. Chairman.
The next item we had on there was boom mower. So, that's gonna have to be put on next year's budget, because we don't have the money. And now the third thing is, the speed limit on Grove Cemetery Road. They want it lowered to 25 miles an hour. And I'd like to just turn that over to the county attorney. We've got enough names now, I think. To sign it. People that can live out there, they have.
That's right. Billy, I believe we just got a couple more signatures yesterday.
Yeah,
So the process now will just be to verify the landowners, that the names that are on the petition are in fact landowners currently, and then as long as we have 75%, we can go ahead and proceed with that modification.
so you take care of that.
I'll take it.
All right. Thank you. That's all I got, Jim.
Okay, thank you. Old business, ordinance 672 related to the 2022 tax rates. I open this up to the public hearing. Public comment. Close the public hearing, adopt on second reading, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Bowman. And this is where we need a second.
I'll second.
And second, Manager Couch, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Bar Kramer,
Yes.
Bar Bowman,
Yes.
Bar Sartman,
Yes.
Bar Houchin.
Yes.
Bar Vaught,
Yes.
Bar Riddle,
Yes.
Bar Nickerson.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Other old business, the courthouse janitorial contract. Mr. Coomer, you want to? Or Jeff?
Yeah, we received that and going over it. I talked with Dennis this morning. We just got to set a time for how to do the bid process. Sure, you may be able to help us, whatever's legal. That's what we need to start doing immediately, starting today.
Okay, well, we need a motion to start the bid process.
Make that motion.
Second. Motion, Master Botts, second, Master Coomer, to start the janitorial bid process for the courthouse. Questions?
We received the specs, I guess, for the bids. And I did have some comments or questions on this. Under section 3, under general performance specifications, under 3A, under personnel, it says vendors shall provide an adequate number of people to clean locations identified in this bid. I know we've had a lot of discussion about that. Our present vendor only supplies one person. And it was our thought that there needed to be 2. I think the adequate number of people, that's a little vague. Because if I'm bidding something and I'm required to furnish one person, my bid's going to be one number. If I'm required to furnish 2 people, it's going to be a different number. I just think the wording there is a little vague to cover us. And then also, I noticed that there were different duties, there were daily, monthly, weekly. And under notices and advisories on number 6B, it said the vendor will post a daily checklist to be used as a guide for the employees to follow in the execution of their duties. But that's never listed for these other services that we're requiring. As far as weekly, monthly, semi-annual, annual, I think that needs to be added.
That needs to be part of the bid process. Be an amendment. Yeah.
Mark, I certainly have no problem with that, adding that. I think we just need to have a motion to amend the contract to reflect that. And then a second, you all can vote. If it's approved, then I'll make the changes, and that way we can go ahead and proceed with the bid process with those changes.
Do we need to vote on the changes of all personnel and the daily checklist for all, or as one or something?
Oh, you could do it in one motion.
Okay. I move that, we make the changes to section 3A of personnel to reflect they require 2 people. And then as far as the other duties that we're asking them to do is on weekly, annually, semi-annual, monthly, there's a daily checklist that they fill out every day. Or there's a checklist they fill out just the same as they do for the daily duties.
Okay, we have an amendment to the motion. Madam Clerk, did you get all that? Okay.
I'll second.
We have a second. Master Couch, questions? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Square Bowman,
Yes.
Square Sargent,
Yes.
Square Houchins.
Yes.
Square Potts.
Yes.
Square Riddle.
Yes.
Square Dickerson.
No.
Square Coomer.
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Okay, now the main motion. Any other questions on the main motion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Square Sargent,
Yes.
Square Houchins.
Yes.
Square Potts.
Yes.
Square Riddle.
Yes.
Square Dickerson.
Yes.
Square Coomer.
Yes.
Square Bowman.
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, new business. Approve the payment of claims as presented.
Motion?
Watts.
Second.
Master Dickerson, questions?
I have a question is, I guess Tim's not here, I just noticed there were autopsies in the payments. Is that something that we normally do, I guess, is for, they're done here in Glasgow? Was to TJ, I just, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, approve transfer of funds.
Motion?
Master Riddle,
Second.
Master Dickerson, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approve budget adjustment.
Motion?
Master Botts.
Second.
Second, Master Houchins, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approve monthly financial statement, August 2022, subject to audit.
So move.
Master Houchins,
So,
Master Comer, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Approve official settlements, August 2022, subject to audit, the county attorney, county clerk, and the sheriff.
Motion?
Master Botts,
Second.
second Master Houchins, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Personnel actions?
so move.
Master Comer,
Second.
second Master Dickerson, questions? All in favor say aye. Sorry.
Tried to get it in. Wasn't quick enough, was it? I guess it's just a little picky. I noticed through here, all the department heads but one, they signed off. But there's one department head that didn't, there's no signature on these.
Well, I email that and just, I guess, depending on how busy the office is, it doesn't get back to me, but he's here today, so he'll be signing before he leaves.
Okay, because I would think a signature had to be required in order for that to
It
be.
is. Yes, I'll have the signature.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, approve Kentucky Deferred Compensation Agreement and Resolution.
Motion?
Master Riddle. I'm going to second that. Questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, resolutions for the 2022 tax rates for the ambulance district, extension district, and the library. We will start with the ambulance. Let's see. At 2.4 cents per $100 assessed value, that remains the same. The extension district, that is 1.6 for $100 assessed value. They also do personal property, inventory and transit, motor vehicle and watercraft as well. All that remains 1.8, and the personal property range at 2.03. The library remains the same at 2.9 for $100 of assessed value of real property. 2.54 for personal property. 2.39 for motor vehicle and watercraft. So we need a motion for all three of those to acknowledge that.
Make that motion. I'll second that motion, Judge.
Townsend, second by Dickerson. Question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.